So when it comes to travel credit cards, I think that the Amex Platinum, Chase Sapphire Reserve, and Capital One Venture X are the three that offer the most value, but with that value comes an expensive price tag and some of the highest annual fees of any credit cards out there at $695, $550, and $395 respectively. So that's why in this video, I want to do a full comparison to tell you all you need to know about these three premium cards so you can confidently make a decision on which one to apply for, or if you're just better off skipping them all together. And as always, we're not going to waste any time here, so let's just get right into the content. Now first, I want to compare the core value offered by each one of these cards by taking a look at the welcome bonuses, annual fees, and annual credits that'll be the most important to calculate your effective annual fee, or basically what your net out-of-pocket cost is going to be each year in the beginning and over the long run. Then we'll talk about the points earning categories and other major benefits you should know about. Plus at the end, I'm going to give you my own thoughts and opinions on which one of these cards I plan to hold and which one could be the right fit for you. But yeah, lots of good information here in this video that I want to cover, so sit back and let's get started with the American Express Platinum card, which like I said has an annual fee of $695, and the typical welcome bonus on the Amex Platinum currently sits somewhere around 100,000 to 125,000 membership rewards points after spending $6,000 in the first 6 months. Now I've gone over how to get the highest welcome bonus offers for Amex credit cards in another video that I'm going to link to down below, so we'll just assume you can get the higher offer of 125,000 points, and if we value these points very conservatively at 1 cent per point, that welcome bonus becomes worth $1,250. Now, of course, there's plenty of ways to get value from those points. It's going to be much higher than that by using transfer partners on this card. But for this video, we're just going to assume a value of 1 cent per point to keep things simple. So when we take $1,250 minus the annual fee of $695, that gives us an upfront first year positive value of $555. And actually, if we jump over to a travel credit card comparison tool that I made specifically for this video, I can show you what I mean. So I separated each of these credit cards into their own sheet, and then I divided each sheet into year 1 and then year 2 and beyond, because short-term and long-term things are going to play out a bit differently for any card. Now first, anytime I look at a credit card, I start with the annual fee. So again, $695 on the Amex Platinum, but then in year 1, when we factor in that sign-up bonus like I talked about, we get a positive net value, which means that it's like we're getting paid $555 without considering any of the annual credits yet. And when we go down to this section below with those major credits all listed out and a few examples of how someone might value some of them but not all of them, then we can see how our net positive value in year 1 goes from $555 to $1,295 after we added a few of these credits that I went over in a previous video that I'm going to link to up here in this file and at the end of this video. So go check that out after you're done watching this, because I just can't go over that long list of credits without taking up too much time. Now there's probably some other ways that you can add in value from some other smaller credits and benefits, but I designed this to be a custom template for anyone to download and edit, so stick around and I'll show you how to use it. Now that $1,295 of positive value that you might get here in this example in year 1 is not going to be the same every single year, because in year 2, that welcome bonus obviously goes away. So you can see on the right side of the sheet for the second year with this card, with the same exact credits minus the global entry credit that can only apply once every 4 to 5 years, we're actually at a net negative $55 in this example, meaning it's like we're paying $55 to have this card instead of the card paying us like it did in year 1. Now the way that I look at that $55 effective annual fee in this scenario is that it's sort of like the cost for some of those other benefits that are harder to put a value on, like airport lounge access. I mean, I know that some people joke around that they have the Amex Platinum and then they use that Amex Centurion Lounge maybe once per year, and then they get a free mimosa from that, so they jokingly call it the $700 mimosa. But realistically, if you plan out what credits you know you're going to use on this card within your normal spending habits, then I promise you this mimosas get cheaper and cheaper. Now the Platinum card has gained a reputation as being a small metal coupon book since there's so much to keep track of, but luckily now both of these next two cards with the Chase Sapphire Reserve and the Capital One Venture X are going to be much easier to manage since they're more straightforward with their annual credits. So let's look at that Sapphire Reserve as our second card here, and if we jump back over to that Google Sheet file, you'll see there's a little bit less going on. Okay, now the annual fee on the Sapphire Reserve is $550, which is not cheap, but also it's not as bad as the upfront cost on the Amex Platinum card. And right now, the current public welcome bonus offer on this credit card is for 60,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards points after spending $4,000 in the first 3 months. Now again, at a conservative value of 1 cent per point, which is actually the rate that you can cash out your Chase points, those 60,000 points are worth $600. So we take the $600 value of this bonus and subtract the $550 annual fee to get $50 of net positive value, which is like Chase paying us $50. But I will say that compared to the Amex Platinum and Capital One Venture X, I would make the argument that the floor value for these Chase points on the Sapphire Reserve should be 1.5 cents per point instead of 1 cent per point. Now the reason for that is the 50% points boost feature that you get with this card when you redeem Ultimate Rewards points for travel through the Chase portal, or even when you use the pay yourself back feature. And since you're probably someone who travels at at least a little bit. If you're looking at getting the Sapphire Reserve, then I'd say you should be redeeming your points for travel and not cash back if you want to maximize their value. So instead of 60,000 points being worth 600 bucks of cash, at the better 1.5 cent per point valuation, 60,000 points is going to be worth $900 of travel in the portal. Now this card also has the options to transfer points to many different airline and hotel partner programs that I'm going to put on the screen right now, where you can usually find ways to get higher than 1.5 cents per point, making those points even more valuable. But those are all topics to be covered with new and old videos that I have here on my channel, so make sure to subscribe down below to see that, and also make sure to go ahead and tap the like button, because in return I'm making that Google Sheet comparison file available for download completely for free with the link in the description down below after you tap that like button. But anyway, back to the Chase Sapphire Reserve. So if you value those points at the higher 1.5 cent per point floor value for travel in the Chase portal, then that $900 welcome bonus value minus the $550 annual fee makes it like Chase pays you $350 in year one. But on top of that, the main highlight of this card is the $300 travel credit that this comes with, which is actually a really easy general credit to use compared to the very specific credits that come on the Amex Platinum card. So the $300 travel credit can be applied to a pretty broad range of expenses that Chase classifies as travel. And they explain it here on their website too, that purchases made for things like airlines, hotels, buses, taxis, tolls, parking, and stuff like that is all going to count towards that travel credit. And basically the way it works is that for the first $300 of spending in this broad travel category, you're going to get a statement credit back to your account to reimburse you for those expenses. It's pretty straightforward, and there's nothing you have to do to enroll or activate it. You just use your Sapphire Reserve for almost any travel spending anywhere, and Chase is going to take care of the rest. Now we can value that travel credit at the full $300, since most people are going to be able to spend that much on broad travel expenses over the course of 1 year. Plus we'll also add in $100 in value for a global entry credit, because you're also getting reimbursed for that or the application fee to TSA PreCheck on the Sapphire Reserve as well. So all of that brings the potential value in year one to a total of $750 that you're effectively being paid by Chase. And again, that all depends on how you view these things, so your mileage may vary, and you can play around with this Google Sheet file. There's also other partner offers on this card, like a $10 monthly GoPuff credit, and I didn't include everything here because partner benefits can be added and taken away over time. But if we go over to year two, that's when we can see that $550 annual fee minus the same $300 travel credit leaves us with an effective annual fee of $250. That's basically our net cost to hold this card without the help of the welcome bonus we had in year one. And finally, let's move on to that third credit card in this video, which is going to be the Capital One Venture X, the newest addition to the premium travel credit card market. Now honestly, you could argue that this is a direct competitor to the Amex Platinum and Chase Sapphire Reserve, or you could say that maybe it's a step down from them and maybe not as high end. But personally, I think that all three of these travel credit cards should be talked about in the same group. So with the Venture X card, right now the welcome bonus is sitting at 75,000 Capital One miles after spending $4,000 in the first 3 months of account opening. And jumping back over to that Google Sheet file, if we value those 75,000 miles at a base value of 1 cent per mile, when you redeem them in the Capital One portal, that bonus is worth $750 towards travel. Now again, there are travel partners available with this card as well to get higher value for those miles, but 1 cent per mile is the easy redemption option. So $750 minus $395 for the annual fee gives us $355 for the upfront value in year one. But then there's also going to be a $300 travel credit that can be used on bookings within the Capital One travel portal as well. And by the way, I reviewed the Venture X card in full, so I'm going to link to that up here in this file and down below this video too. But that $300 travel credit is very similar to the $300 credit on the Sapphire Reserve, except for the fact that it doesn't apply as broadly to travel expenses. Now I think it's still a credit that people can value at that full $300 amount. So that means that when we add that to the welcome bonus minus the annual fee plus $100 in value for that global entry or TSA PreCheck that comes with this card as well, we get a total year one net positive value in this example of $755. Then in year two, that's when things get interesting and unique, because the Venture X is the only card out of these three that actually offers a built-in anniversary bonus in the form of 10,000 Capital One miles just for keeping this card open. So again, assuming a 1 cent per mile base value on travel booked through Capital One, that's another $100 of value in year two and each year beyond that, plus the same $300 travel credit each year. So when we add all that up, we're getting a positive value of $5 every year, meaning the Venture X card basically pays you $5 each year that you have it. Now that's obviously not much money, but people don't get this card to profit $5 because that's not the point. The point is that the $395 annual fee is completely offset each year without you even having to spend any money to earn miles. So you get to enjoy all those features and benefits on this card basically for free. And to me, that's the main advantage that the Venture X has over the Amex Platinum and the Sapphire Reserve. It's a premium travel card, but it's simple for the average person to manage and to justify holding each year. And I really like that in a world of credit cards that just bombard you with offers and other credits and things like that that not everyone needs. Okay, so I know we just spent a ton of time going over annual fees, welcome bonuses, annual credits, and things like that on these 3 cards. But to me, these have to be your main area of focus from the start to justify paying those high annual fees, unless you really plan to spend a lot on these cards to earn many points and miles. And that leads me right into the next part of this comparison video, which is going to be the points earning categories and other major benefits that these credit cards offer. So for points categories on the Amex Platinum, you're gonna earn 5x points on flights booked either directly with airlines or through Amex Travel on up to $500,000 of spending per year. 5x points on prepaid hotels booked through Amex Travel specifically, so not through the actual hotel websites, and then 1x points on all other purchases. With the Chase Sapphire Reserve, there's a bit more points categories to keep track of, with 5x points on flights through Chase, 10x points on hotels and car rentals through Chase, 3x points on any other travel purchases outside of Chase, which again includes many different types of travel expenses that we talked about earlier, 10x points through the Chase dining program at select restaurants, 3x points on dining at all restaurants, including eligible delivery and takeout, plus 1x points on all other purchases. And then for the Capital One Venture X, you're getting 5x miles on flights booked through Capital One, 10x miles on hotels and car rentals booked through Capital One, and 2x miles on all other purchases. So based off that, all these cards earn really well for travel on flights, hotels, and sometimes car rentals too, but there's just a few minor things that you have to be aware of, like the fact that you mostly have to book through each company's travel portal in many cases to get 5x back or 10x back. Now honestly, I think that with points categories, the Sapphire Reserve has the potential to get the most points out of all these cards, since it gets 3x back on travel and 3x back on dining as well, and also the Venture X could be good as a catch-all card since it's getting 2x miles on everything, which basically makes it like a 2% back card, so that could be a good option for everyday use to keep things simple for a lot of people, and honestly simplicity seems to be the common theme on the Venture X. Now for the major benefits to consider on these 3 cards, the big one on the Amex Platinum is going to be its airport lounge access, which I think stands out compared to the other 2 cards in this video. So you get access to the famous Amex Centurion lounges, which can be hit or miss in terms of what they offer and how big they are depending on the airport, but 2 things that take away some of the value from these lounges to me are going to be the crowds and the hours. So if you're traveling really early or really late, you might not get to enjoy these lounges as much because there's a good chance they'll be closed, and the crowds have been pretty large in many places lately as well. Now starting next year in February 2023, guests are no longer free and you have to pay $50 per guest, so that should drop the crowds a bit, but we'll see. You also get access to a ton of other lounges, including Delta Sky Clubs, Plaza Premium Lounges, and a whole bunch more that you can find by searching the Global Lounge Collection through Amex. Plus you get access to Priority Pass select lounges when you enroll in that with your Platinum card. You also get gold status with Marriott and Hilton, car rental status with Avis, Hertz, and National, no foreign transaction fees, cell phone protection, and really good travel insurance protections like trip delay and trip cancellation. I'm not going to get into the full details of travel insurance for all 3 of these cards in this video because that's just going to take up too much time, but just know that they are really good, and you can also learn more about that or any of the other features and benefits that we've covered here at the links that I'll have down below if you want to help support the channel as well. Then for the Chase Sapphire Reserve, you also get access to Priority Pass select lounges, as well as the upcoming Chase Sapphire lounges by the club that'll be available in just a few cities to start. But the interesting thing that I've read about Priority Pass access that you get from all 3 of these credit cards is that also gives you access to those Sapphire lounges, so you don't really need the Sapphire Reserve to get into those. Also, some other notable features on the Sapphire Reserve include no foreign transaction fees, primary auto rental coverage, and a lot of other best-in-class travel insurances as well. Then for the Capital One Venture X, like I said, you have that Priority Pass select access, but you're also going to get into those new Capital One lounges, which are slowly rolling out and have looked really nice so far. They also recently added access to Plaza Premium lounges, and the cool thing with all these airport lounges is that you can bring 2 free guests as well. Plus this card has no foreign transaction fees, you get President's Circle status with Hertz, cell phone protection, and then of course some other travel protections as well. And you can also add up to 4 free authorized users, which is pretty rare to find since the other 2 cards in this video charge you an extra annual fee for authorized users. Okay, so next, let's go over some final thoughts here about what cards I like and what cards might be right for you. Now currently, out of the 3 cards in this video, I only have the Amex Platinum, and I've had it for coming up on 2 years. I think it's a great card if you travel a lot, which I've been starting to do more and more lately, and it's worth a $6.95 annual fee for me because the credits give me more value than the cost. Plus, I like to stop in at those airport lounges when I can to grab a free drink before an evening flight or a coffee and breakfast before a morning flight. I do not have the Chase Sapphire Reserve because honestly, I just prefer the cheaper $95 per year Sapphire Preferred, which I've had for almost 3 years now, and that's because both of these Sapphire cards offer the same one-to-one transfers out to partner programs. That's how I like to use my Chase points, by transferring them over to Hyatt to easily get really good value. Now that's just what works for me, and I think if you're spending a lot on the Sapphire Reserve, or if you're redeeming a lot of Chase points through that portal or the pay yourself back feature, then maybe the more expensive Reserve is worth it for you. But I also compared the Sapphire Preferred and Sapphire Reserve in another video video that I'll link to down below if you want to learn more about these two Chase credit cards. And when it comes to the Capital One Venture X, I do plan to get this card in another few months because number one, I think there's a lot of value in that welcome bonus, and number two, because this card really pays for itself like I talked about with that $300 travel credit and the anniversary bonus. Plus, it can act like a decent catch-all card as well since it's getting 2x back on everything. Another thing to note though is the downgrade and cancel options. So maybe you want to get each one of these cards over time to test them out, get the high welcome bonuses and year one value like I talked about, and then see which one works best for you. So for the Amex Platinum card, there really isn't a downgrade option to a no annual fee card. You can downgrade to the Amex Green card in that product family, which is the cheapest cost at $150 per year, but there's no downgrade option to a no annual fee card. So if the Amex Platinum card is not working out for you, then you might need to cancel it or maybe ask for a retention offer as well to avoid that $695 annual fee hitting your wallet really hard. And canceling a card like that is not always a bad option, but it is something to consider with your overall credit profile. The Chase Sapphire Reserve is a bit better and carries the least risk out of these three cards when it comes to downgrade options, since it's pretty well documented that many people have been able to downgrade to a no annual fee card like the Freedom Flex or Freedom Unlimited if you find out that the $550 annual fee just isn't worth it after year one. But honestly, I think the best strategy when it comes to Chase Sapphire cards is to wait for an elevated welcome bonus offer like the 80K or 100K offers we saw over the past year or so for the $95 per year Sapphire Preferred, then get that Sapphire Preferred card first for that increased bonus, and after year one with that card, you can decide if it's better for you to upgrade to the Reserve, stay with the Preferred, or downgrade to a no annual fee card like I said. But that's just my thoughts, so again, your mileage may vary and you might have a different plan. And then I guess for the Capital One Venture X, it might be a bit unknown right now when it comes to downgrades since this card hasn't even been out for one full year. There might be some ways to downgrade to other cards within the same product family like the $95 per year Venture or the no annual fee Venture 1, but I've heard mixed reviews online about whether downgrading is available, so keep that in mind. And if anyone has any luck downgrading the Venture X, then be sure to let everyone else know down in the comment section below. And also, if anyone is still watching at this point in the video, then go comment the words premium travel so I know you're still here. But overall, the Amex Platinum is the most premium card out of all these three and has the best airport lounge access. It can be a bit hard to keep track of all those benefits and credits, but if you're traveling a lot, then this card can really pay for itself with all that it offers. You can see from that Google Sheet file that the first year value is likely going to be the highest on this card compared to the other two, but in year two and beyond is where you really need to make sure that those credits make sense for you and that they give you enough value to justify the cost. Then the Sapphire Reserve is a bit harder for me to justify. The first year value is good and you could always downgrade after year one, but year two and beyond is going to have an effective annual fee of $250. So to me, the only way to make up for that is really to either be spending a lot on this card in those points categories to earn a ton of points, or you could be redeeming a lot of Chase points at that 1.5 cent per point value or with those transfer partners. So you might have a lot of Chase points from other Chase personal and business credit cards that you can combine with the Sapphire Reserve and a Chase trifecta strategy, and that could be a good plan as well. And then the Venture X to me is going to be the easiest to use and the most affordable option out of all these three, and probably the best travel credit card for the largest number of people. Now that's simply because of how you get good value in year one, but then in year two and beyond, it's paying you $5 if you use this card the right way, so the rest of the features and benefits are essentially free. You might also like the Venture X if you're based in or fly out of one of the airports that currently has or is going to get a Capital One lounge like Dallas, Fort Worth, Washington, Dulles, or Denver. So again, everyone is going to be different, which is why I gave you that free file that you can download after you tap that like button. But if you want to learn more about any one of these cards, then I'm going to put some detailed videos on each one on the screen right now for you to check out. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.